The Give It a Go Show! Welcome to the Give It a Go Show, where we give things a go and talk about it. I'm Prince.
And I'm Rivert.
And, well, first of all, I'm going to say that because we have milked the final segment for all that it's worth, I think, we are going to do something different for that today, so look forward to that later.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. It's a bit more of a broad topic that we can pick on, so you don't have to know about pop cultural games to know about it.
Yeah, that was just a little random idea we had that ended up being too talked about.
Yeah, we run a bit dry on characters.
It would make us feel like we were in a fever dream because the same thing kept happening. So yes, that's gonna change and stick more with the theme. So yeah, look forward to that later.
Look forward to, yeah.
But for the things we've tried, now I didn't I didn't intend for this to being the thing I was gonna do on the podcast, and you know that I've done this, but you don't know that I'm gonna bring it here, I think. And I'm gonna apologize for the nerdiness, even as we said, you don't have to know pop culture, but I started writing my own Dungeons and Dragons campaign.
Yes, I very much know you've been doing this. It's been your life.
Yes, it's been my life for the past few weeks. So, little explanation, I guess, about what that means is the dungeon master of a Dungeons and Dragons campaign is like the person who keeps track of the narrative, the non-playable characters, the story and the adventuring, and they're like leading the party of adventurers into the story, and they have the final say on rules and all that kind of stuff. So I've been a dungeon master for a campaign that I purchased, and I kind of fell in love with it. And the thing is, I've always wanted to write my own, but I thought...
I just want to briefly interrupt to say to my father, who will be listening, it's not just me who plays Dungeons and Dragons, look.
Yeah, it's actually, it used to be this thing that people did in their basement with all their nerd friends. Now, it's actually a very popular thing, and everybody does it.
Yeah.
You can take my word for it, because the reason why I got into it was because of the fact that everybody's doing it. And now you can do it remotely. So you used to do it like in 5-hour sittings and such, because you would go to your friend's house or something and do it in person, and now people can do it in more of a sort of micro way in like 2 hours remotely. So basically, I've always wanted to write my own, but I thought I was too stupid.
Oh no.
I didn't think I was gonna be smart or savvy enough. But the thing is, like, the things that I thought I was gonna have problems with, there are resources. So there's like resources for making like a full sheet of skills for a monster or something, like an enemy. Yeah. I thought I was gonna have to make it all up myself, but there's a monster manual, you know, the official monster manual. There's like a sort of randomizer for non-playable characters that are enemies that you can just put in the stuff you want and then it'll generate for you. There's amazing stuff out there that makes me able to do that.
So many resources, it's amazing.
Yeah, because I'm not good at math, and I'm not really good at keeping track of numbers, but there's stuff that can do that for you. So I was like, okay. And then I realized while I was doing it that I still really love writing, because even as a kid, I would try and write stories, and I've tried so many different formats of making a story, like comics and novels. And I mean, you've been doing it too. You've been writing novels and we both, yeah, exactly. We both tried to kind of break through into that. Yeah. And for me, I wanted to do it, but there was always something that didn't quite work for me, because I'm very much a person, I don't run on validation, but I really enjoy sharing.
Enjoy sharing what you've created with other people and having them experience it and hoping that they get that same feeling that you get whilst making it.
Absolutely.
And I guess that's the thing. If you don't get that feeling whilst making it, which I guess is what you and I have both suffered with in the past, then I guess you just kind of think, well, is anyone else going to enjoy this? But with this D&D stuff you've been doing, I can tell you've been enjoying doing that. So.
Yes. So, like, because with comics, like I explained, it just ended up being a format I didn't enjoy in the end. Yeah. And with novels, it's hard, even when people are interested in reading it, even if you just, I made the first chapter, check it out. People, and I'm the same, it will take a while until I can sit down and read something, you know? And even if you do eventually, it's hard to give feedback also sometimes. Yes. Yeah. So even though I haven't had the group that is going to be playing this the first time, even though they haven't started playing it yet, they've just made their characters, it still feels like, wow, this is a world that I can immediately share with people, and they will willingly go into it and experience it and explore it. And it was kind of like a ding, 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 this is the format for you.
I mean, the other great thing about doing it in the form of a D&D campaign is that it's a lot more immersive, isn't it? So people can put their own spin on it. They can incorporate their own things into your world. It's quite a nice way of doing it.
Yeah, so I've tried comics, novel, games. Yeah. I'm a big fan of all kinds of games, but I tried to kind of ease into it with visual novels, which they're like books in game form with like character portraits and pictures and stuff. Yeah. And I'm a visual person, so I like that. But I am not very good at programming. I used to do a little bit of programming due to that, but then I forgot everything I learned because I stopped doing it. Yeah. But anyway, so once I started getting into doing it and sort of organizing it in a way that I enjoyed, I was writing like a madman. All my friends would hear that every waking moment that I had available, I was writing. I was writing from like morning to very, very late if I could get away with it. And I was making maps. I was told about some map making software for making battle maps and for making world maps and really immersing people into the world. So I've been grabbing little bits and pieces of all these worlds I've created in the past and just injected it into this experience.
I mean, that's the other, again, great thing about doing it in the form of a D&D campaign is it can be a bit more of a multimedia experience. There's lots of different things that you can pull in and put into it, like doing the map making. I
love making the maps because, you know, I don't have to draw anything myself, even though I can. Yeah. It's more work. I can just plonk in a chair there, a wall there, or, you know, whatever I want, and sort of build it to meet the experience that I want them to have. I'm not good at riddles or anything, but I've been writing riddles and I've been writing puzzles and just like, oh, what could they find here? And it's been really fun. I've been getting into it so fervently and I'm so excited that I'm just kind of bouncing in my chair waiting for the first session to happen. It's just this world that I kind of went in a little bit easy, whereas I placed this area that it is based around in an existing world, which is one of the D&D worlds, the Forgotten Realms. So I didn't have to make up my own gods and races and stuff like that. I could use an existing template and then build around it, which they encourage in the handbooks. They're like, oh, you can use this and then you can change it if you want, or you can make it whatever you feel this campaign needs. So you can use all these things as a baseline and then make your own sort of lore and world around it, which is what I did. So I've been making different areas. I've been writing lore. I've been writing history, geography, factions. I've just been writing like a crazy person. And some of these things the players might not even find.
But then that means if you do it again with a different group, then maybe those people will find something different next time. So, I mean, I'd love to play it one day.
I'm going to find every person I know who plays D&D and force them to play this campaign.
I would love to play it. Every time I've spoken to you pretty much over the past couple of weeks when you haven't been working, you've either been playing Genshin or with me, or you've been working on this D&D thing. And it sounds really cool. Like, I've spoken to a couple of people in the campaign and it sounds like it's going to be pretty good. So
I hope so. I mean, it's not genius stuff, but I feel like it's
yours,
I feel like it's engaging. I don't, nobody's tested it yet, so I don't know how unfair the battles are and so on.
You can always tweak those things though, can't you, over time?
Oh, absolutely. If I feel like something's being unfair in terms of not like luck with your dice rolls, but in terms of this was not made properly, then I can change it because they're testing it and not just playing it. They're testing it. So
yeah, precisely.
I can't be like, oh, well, you died because this enemy that I made without knowing how strong it was going to be, it's too strong, sorry.
So they're the guinea pigs.
Yeah, they're the guinea pigs. And, you're definitely...
I'll wait till they've done it before I play it then.
Yeah, you're definitely next up. If you're listening and you don't even know what Dungeons & Dragons is, it's basically role play and pretend, but you have all these things that can engage you. Yeah. Visual things like maps and pictures of the people that you're meeting, and you choose your adventure. You choose what you want to do, and when you do those things, different things might happen, and it's just an adventure. I'm very much in love with it, and every waking hour of my life, I am either wanting to play D&D, playing D&D, writing for D&D, or I'm drawing a D&D character.
Well, the thing I wanted to say now was if anyone listening, this does interest anyone and they do want to get into D&D in any shape or form, the official company, I guess, that does D&D, so Wizards of the Coast, they've got a few books that you can pick up. So I've got the Player's Handbook, which is great if you just want to play it. You can go online and find groups to play with.
I've got the Dungeon Masters thing, so there's like more books for depending on what kind of thing you want to play.
There's loads of books. There's books for each campaign. You can usually find local places that will do D&D sessions if you want to do it face to face. place.
And you can look for players online, like the site that we use, which is called Roll20. Usually you won't even have to use dice, and you won't have to math everything. Once you've made your character and stuff, it will have everything calculated. You just press a thing and it'll roll everything for you with the pluses and minuses and all of that, all your stats.
Yes, brilliant.
So that site also has a feature where I think you can look for players. You can place yourself as somebody basically who is looking for someone to play with, and then other people can find you, I believe. It is very much a revitalized form of media now, which is very different from the way it used to be. So yeah,
I mean,
that's what I did.
Yeah, I guess naturally we go on to what I did.
Oh wow! Wasn't ready for this part of the podcast.
I know, amazing. So I kind of briefly touched on to you what I did this week. My husband, he knows how to play guitar, bass, piano, etc. And I had always wanted to learn the guitar. He has 3 guitars, but one's a bass. I don't know shit about music. Sorry, Mum, I did not mean to curse there. I don't know much about music, but we do have 2 keyboards because I have a MIDI keyboard because I've always wanted to learn production and I've always been very interested in music.
She made the bloops in our intro.
Very exciting.
With that keyboard.
Very hard work. Yeah. It did take a while to get them right.
The news intro as well.
Yeah, so all my life I have been very interested in music, but it's taken quite a backseat because I've just never really had the time to pursue it. I've had hobbies that have kind of taken priority over it. So art, for example, I don't know, gaming, I guess.
It's a hobby.
It is a hobby, yeah. So I've just never really pursued it until I kind of grew up. And then I thought to myself, well, it was only quite recently. I thought, well, I could just do it.
Yeah.
I could just do it. Why not?
So many people think that as an adult, it's too late to learn, to get good at instruments or something. But no, it's not.
That's the thing. I'm 25 and I thought, well, anyway, I haven't actually said what I've done yet, so I should probably do that. So I want to learn how to play the keyboard/piano because whenever I try and make anything in the production software I use, I don't know, I just feel like it would help me out quite a lot to be able to actually read sheet music, write notes down, etc. So my husband, the most patient man in the world, he sat down with me and we both got our keyboards out and I started learning a song on the keyboard, and this is a song that I think you like, Prince. I presume you'll like because we have a mutual love for this artist.
Is it Lady Gaga?
Well, you see, I brought the Chromatica sheet music book.
Oh!
And I started learning Sour Candy on the piano.
Yes!
Which sounds like kind of a weird song to learn on the piano because it's very pop, very synthy. But yeah. Yes. It went surprisingly well. So my husband, he explained how to read the sheet music. I don't fully understand it all yet, all the weird symbols, but I got the gist of it.
Did you record it?
Not yet.
Oh,
now, here's the thing. I'm going to practice more. I know. I'm very slow and very hard to listen to at the moment when I play.
That's why I want to hear it.
Yeah, maybe I should have. Yeah, I mean, I could still do a recording and we can slot it in, but it's So
if you're hearing it after this, you're welcome.
I'm very slow at the moment because I can't read sheet music very well.
I mean, you just started.
That's the thing. I've just started, so I'm trying to develop the muscle memory and be able to look at the note and go, I know what that note is, and then just play it and that kind of stuff.
Something you've heard many times about when I play certain games that I played a lot, how it's just, it goes on autopilot. I just do the things, and no matter what happens, I'm just going, and we're having a conversation, and we don't even realize what happened in the game. And we're just like, oh, we won. I wasn't paying attention. Because because I'm just on autopilot with the muscle memory. And I've been able to do that, and yet we kind of still have this thought that you can't get good at an instrument unless you're a kid or something. It was like, no, you can.
That's the thing. I mean, I'm 25 and I thought, well, I've always wanted to learn an instrument, but I've always never really pursued it. And I'd always wanted to learn the piano. The other thing is, I have tiny hands. And I know you thought the same thing about yourself, because you told me, is because I have small hands, I can't play the piano. However, whilst it is slightly more difficult for me because I can't reach all of the keys with one hand. Like, when I say all of the keys, I mean, obviously, like, one section of not the entire keyboard.
No, I can't reach every single key with my
single key. It's just like two fingers.
Just somebody you watched this like genius at piano who's just got Edward spaghetti hands
spaghetti hands. But no, I've actually really enjoyed it, and I'm someone who really struggles to focus on things. I have a very short attention span. It's really
funny that we think that we can't play it with small hands when you think about the fact that there are child prodigies with baby hands
who are playing on full-size pianos, and there's quite a lot of children who play on full-size pianos as well. It's quite funny. I'm still learning how to do it, but I mean, it might be interesting to put in a clip of how I play now, and then maybe in a month or so I could always re-record it and see how I've gotten, I guess.
Yeah.
So that might be interesting. I have decided that I think this is a hobby that I will pursue because I really enjoy it. So it's quite therapeutic, actually. So yeah, I think I'm going to carry on with that. Although the problem is, with me picking sour candy, is I try and kind of sing along to kind of get where I am in the song. But the problem with that is that a couple of the verses are in like Korean.
Right.
I just go because I don't want to butcher the language, so I butcher it even more, I guess.
you just delete it.
I just mumble. I just go and I hope that works. That's what I did this week, and I will post a recording of how I'm doing now, which will be abysmal, but you can enjoy that. And then in a month or so, maybe when I feel I have gotten sufficiently better, then maybe I'll post how I've gotten, and it'll be a good example of picking up something new and running with it. Maybe. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that sounds fun, and that's the whole point of it all. Not just learning new things, but just finding things that we can run with as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not all about just trying something once and then never touching it again. Because, I mean, for example, when I did the canoeing, I would do that again. Not at the moment. It's raining very hard. Well, not at this very moment, obviously. But
I need to go out and do it right now! Dad, let's go!
Let me in the canoe now! Yes.
I need it. I need the canoe.
Banging on the door of the canoe place.
No, all you have to do is get a skip and make it yourself.
Oh, yes, of course, yeah. Pop a motor on it. I got loads of those, obviously.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I just gotta go into
my motor stash. That's it. Just get one out. It's all good.
Yeah.
Oh.
We're really scraping the barrel of old stories right now, but for now, I still have a couple. So the one I want to talk about now is when I used to do horse riding.
Ah, yes, I briefly heard about this.
When I talk about these, it really makes me realize how many things I've done, and that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Because I used to think that I wasn't doing anything, that I was just sitting like a lemon in front of the computer. Once we had a computer, because I was born in 1990. But yeah, I really did a lot of stuff, and I did a lot of physical stuff, whereas I used to think that I didn't do any exercise. I was freaking riding horses. I was powerful. So basically what happened was that I was in middle school or junior high, depending on where you are. I was approximately 13 to 14 years old, and our school was having this kind of thing where they were letting us choose between several things to try out, and I think a lot of them were physical things, like sports activities and and there was horse riding, and I'd never not at school. They had events where we went and did things.
Oh, sorry, you were of school age and you were doing horse riding.
Yes.
Is that what you... Okay, I thought you were saying that they were offering you horse riding at school. I was like, what kind of bougie school did you go to?
Yes, I went to the stable at my school and they let me drive. No, it was events where we went to different places and got to try things out. So it was like an outing where different kids went to different places and did different things. Yeah, I did not go to bougie school. It was shite. I tried not to swear there just because your mom tells you not to swear, even though she doesn't tell me not to swear, but...
Because you're the guest.
If I don't do it, I have to take the explicit E off. I have to.
We have to swear to keep our E.
Don't worry, I'll do it for the both of us. I'll swear enough to keep the E off.
taking one for the team, thank you.
It's only there just in case. I know I won't be able to stop. So I wasn't interested in it at all, but out of all the ones that were there, I was like, well, I like animals. I always liked animals. Mm-hmm. And so I was initially really uninterested, but there was somebody in my class at the time who had her own horse and was very well versed in that sort of world. And so I was like,
in horsing.
Yes, in horsing. Horsing around.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, okay, there's somebody that I'm going to recognize over there. And we went to the horse riding school. It was just this very far off place. Like after a long dirt road, went to those stables and I freaking fell in love with it immediately. I was very weak. Like in horse riding, when the horse is trotting, you usually do a kind of bounce up and down in rhythm with the trot.
Yeah.
So what that means is basically you stand up in the stirrups and sit back down. It's like doing squats essentially. Yeah. And I was first they were like, try standing up into stirrups, and I was like, hey, like I was shaking. I was Edward Spaghetti Legs at that point. It was the worst. I couldn't do it. I'm skipping ahead a little by saying this, but I didn't feel anything doing that eventually. I was doing it as easily as I was taking one step in front of the other. It was horse riding makes you very strong. If you can do it, do it. It's amazing. But anyway, I tried it out that time. I rode a wonderful white horse called Bolero. He was very chill. He was very sweet, very cute. It was fun, even though I couldn't stand up like that. I had so much fun. When I got home, I was like, Mom, Dad, can I sign up for that riding school? And they were like, oh, I don't know. And it kind of, they kind of went back and forth on that, where the days would go by and I would ask them, I really want it. Can we check it to see if I can do it? And I think maybe they looked it up and there weren't any openings, or so it took a little doing. It took a little while, but they could see I was very passionate about this, I think. And it was, a sport, which is very healthy. So eventually I did get in and they bought me the shoes and the helmet and the stuff that I needed. Yeah. So I finally got to do it after some time. And so I got so absorbed in horse girl life because I was a girl at that point. I was reading horse girl novels. Everything about my life became horse related. I was the stereotype, yes. I even had the frickin' ponytail. And we had this storage unit. All of the houses in that row sort of had a storage unit, kind of, not a shed, but it was kind of like a tinier little building where we kept our freezer and we kept a bunch of storage related stuff. And I was like, can we get a horse? He can live in the storage unit. He can live in there. Oh, no. And I didn't see any problem with it. Like, let's buy a horse. He can live in there. It's going to be fine. We have plenty of room in there. And my parents were just like, no. No, what's wrong with you? Why are you so insane all of a sudden?
Oh my goodness.
I was a kid. I was a teenager.
Oh yeah, you don't see the problem with it then. You're like, it's enough room, it'll be fine.
And even then, like, I was a beginner, but I was still the oldest in the group because a lot of the beginners tend to be even younger. So we had like tiny kids in this group and I was the only teenager. But I had a bit of an attitude and I got really like attached to some of the ponies because we would kind of, whenever we started, we would get in line. It would be a rotation of who got to pick first. So I always wanted to pick this one sort of gray speckled pony named Zunny, kind of Sunny but with a Z, and I adored her. And a lot of others picked like, oh, I want the fast one, and oh, I want the whatever. And she was this lazy, just sleepy little darling, and you had to really kick her to get her to go. But she was so lovely. She would neigh when she saw me because I would always ride her, and she would get happy and kind of lean against me a lot. So I fell in love with this horse, but all the horses and ponies, they have their own sort of caretakers. There's a schedule, and this day this girl is gonna come and brush this horse or whatever. So she had a caretaker who very nicely, very sweetly came up to me after a session where I was cleaning her hooves, and this girl was like, hi, like, do you want any help? And I was like, why would I need any help?
Oh no.
I was jealous. I wanted her to be mine. I wanted that horse to be mine. So when she came up and was so nice to me, oh, I'm so sorry to that girl. I was so rude. I was like, I don't need any help from you. Go away. Oh God, I was an asshole. Again, I was a teenager. I was kind of attached to this. This is really just my confession booth at this point. Yeah. I've been different levels of asshole over the past few years, but I will definitely...
That's how you learn and grow.
Yes, I will definitely give myself an extra pass at this one because I was a kid who was feeling jealous. And so, yeah, I was very attached to this one. Whenever I didn't get to choose her, I would get really upset, and I would like, I don't want to write this one. And I would... Because some of the lessons we had were only theory, so we didn't always ride horses. Sometimes we would sit down and learn about them. And I was so into the riding part that I always skipped the theory lessons. So we'd come to the stables and they'd be like, why did you bring your helmet? It's theory. And I'm like, all right, I'm going home.
I ain't here for this.
Yeah, I just went home immediately. I was only here for the riding. I was even rude to like the freaking teachers. I was such a rude kid. Oh, feel bad for it now. So bad. I was just so absorbed. So it was kind of silly as me being the oldest in the group. I really should have set a better example. But eventually, though, because when I started, Bolero wasn't there anymore. But he came back. He came back to the stables, and I got to ride him again when I was way better, and I could stand up in the stirrups. And yeah, I just have many fond memories of the different kinds of horses that I got to try because they're so different in personality. There was this, this kind of workhorse-looking horse that's just like really wide everywhere with the hoof fur and really huge. I rode one of those, and it felt like I was doing splits just sitting on him.
Oh my goodness.
He was huge. And he was a candy monster. He thought that if you moved, that meant it was to give him a treat.
Oh, no.
So I would just, like, have my hands in my pocket and then just move my hand to, like, brush my hair off of my face. And he would just take a chomp in my arm.
It'd be like, that's for me.
Yeah, it's like, thank you for treats. And just like, right on my arm. And I just, oh my God, I'd be like, ow. And people are like, oh yeah, you can't move your arm in front of his face. He's going to think you're delicious. And even just riding him, it was like trying to push a cow. He refused to do what I said. I had to really like drag him everywhere. You get really strong everywhere when you ride horses. Yeah. I wish I could do it again because I did love it. It was just a matter of money. It was expensive.
Yeah.
I think I had to stop eventually. If I could do it again, because I don't love exercising, but I really loved riding horses. Yeah. It exercises every single part of you. You'll have like buff eyelashes by the time you're done. So if you're at all interested in giving it a go, or if you feel like me and you're not sure a bunch of different types of exercise that is recommended to you is not working for you and you're just miserable through it, and if you have the money, of course, give it a try. Even if you don't think you like horses or you don't think you're gonna like it, you might be surprised. I didn't care at first, and then I became the dreaded horse girl. Man, right now I wish I could do it again. I wish I could be a horseman. Come full circle.
Could be a horseman one day. A horseman, yeah.
Yes. So, yeah, that's another fond memory where I was kind of mean to people again, but I promise. I promise I'm not like this anymore.
I love horses in the sense that I think they're very beautiful creatures. I love giving them little nose pats when I'm out and about.
Oh, they're brats. They're like, they have these kind of unexpected personalities, very different. I mean, all animals do, of course. Like dogs and cats have very distinct habits and personalities, but horses, because you can't really see what they're thinking as much, they kind of look the same all the time, but they act very cheeky. They're like, they'll prank you, they'll tease you and stuff like that, and be like, oh, that wasn't me, what are you talking about? I didn't do that. There were many instances like that where a horse would just like mess with me and like dick around a little bit, and I really liked that about them because I thought they were just these gentle, majestic creatures, but no, they're just little brats.
I mean, I love horses, but I just always remember, and this was only a few years ago, I think, I was stood in a field with a horse called Bob. And he was enormous, and I was terrified because he was just so big and intimidating, and I was like,
yeah.
I say that my husband wants a miniature pony, so
like
one
a Shetland
day when
pony.
he loves ponies. He loves little ponies.
I did feel a little bit like it did sting a bit that I was too old to ride the Shetland ponies. They were so small, and like the tinier people in the group got to ride them, and they were just like really trying to keep up with all the other horses and run. Their legs would just go There are, like I said, the ponies I rode, they look like horses. They feel big enough to be horses, but they're just a little smaller. If you were to start off horse riding at some point and you kind of feel like you're terrified of horses, try a smaller one. Even if you're an adult, you can still probably fit a bigger pony. Give it a go.
Yes, try it. Even I might try it one day.
Please be nice to their caretakers. Don't be a jerk. Whether you're a kid or an adult, don't be like that, like me.
No.
So, what have you brought? What story have you brought from the bottom of the barrel today?
Oh, God.
What?
Okay, so this story is relevant to what I did. I briefly touched on when I did this before, but I feel like sometimes people just either don't believe me or they just don't care because it's not that big a deal. When I say that, I mean, it's... It's like, no, as in, like, it's not as big a deal as I think. Because when I tell people, I get really embarrassed, but I mean,
it's
I've
just
told
not
people...
that big of a deal as it is in your head.
Yeah, pretty much.
I thought you were suddenly getting really defeatist on me, like, oh, nobody cares.
No, so when I was in secondary school, I went through a stage with music where this was kind of where I was discovering what music I really like. And I was really into rap music. American rap music specifically, and I was listening to mostly Eminem. Maybe not the best choice when I was I was a teenager. All the teenagers listen to that kind of stuff. I was listening to a lot of the kind of newest, more exclusive stuff. I was listening to Nicki Minaj's mixtapes before she was particularly famous and stuff at the time, and I was very into all that, and I wanted to try my hand at rapping. And probably every other day at school, I would go with some of my friends into the music practice rooms, and I'd just be spitting fire.
Hell yeah.
So I'd put an Eminem track on, or I'd usually have to censor myself in case the teachers heard me.
Oh.
So I couldn't swear, really. But
sorry, I just have to mention, because this reminded me, this is very much like when I first got into metal, and whenever they would start the screaming part, I would turn the volume down. I would go, oh dear, no, Linkin Park, you can't scream like that. And,
Linkin Park.
Yeah, it was Korn at first, so it was way worse,
Korn,
but Linkin Park had some songs where they would do some screaming, and I would always go over and I would turn the volume down, and I would turn it back up again when they were finished screaming.
It's like, are you done?
Yeah, it's like, oh dear, oh no.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I used to rap along to a lot of different songs, and a lot of people thought I was really good, apparently. That's what they told me anyway. I thought I was pretty good. I really enjoyed it, to be fair. But I guess because I was like kind of middle-class white girl, I was like, I don't think I should be doing this. At this point, I didn't really... I kind of got over that for a bit, which is when I entered the school talent contest. And so I did my audition after school. I rapped, got through a few verses, but the last one was the banger, the best verse that I felt showcased my skill. And they were like, no, that's enough. As in, they'd already were like, yeah, it's fine. I think there just wasn't that many applicants, so they
didn't really care about the content.
No, they were just like, and I was like, no, you have to let me finish. And they were like, oh, no, it's fine. It's like, no, you have to let me finish this song. And they were like, oh, okay, fine. So they let me finish the song, and then I went through a bit of a lot of anxiety, I guess, in the run-up to the talent contest, because I had that preconceived notion that I shouldn't be doing rap, I guess. Like, no, this is people are gonna laugh at me, it's gonna be awful, oh no. And what I decided to do was I wasn't gonna rap over a song that already existed, because swear words. So I wrote my own song over an instrumental that someone recommended to me, and they said, I think this one would be good. I can't remember what the song was called. It was called Raindrops, but I can't remember who it was by. So I can remember what the song was called, I just can't remember who it was by. But anyway, so I wrote this song. I can't remember how good the lyrics are because I erased them from existence. So it came to the night of the talent show. I was reading through my lyrics over and over and over again. To be fair, I probably hadn't practiced the song as much as I should have. My mum came, despite her not being a fan of rap. She came out for me. I got on stage. I started, and then I forgot the lyrics.
No! No.
I forgot the lyrics. They had these teachers who were judges. It's as if they were on Britain's Got Talent or something.
Yeah,
I was like,
Idol.
Who cares?
Like, judging.
Yeah, whatever. I was like, come on, I'm just up here. We had a break, and then I was like, can I go back on with my lyric sheet?
Oh.
And they let me, and I did it, and it was fine.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It was a good ending in the end, but it was still, I don't know. After that, the kind of my insecurity settled back in, though, and I kind of gave it up for ages. I'm kind of more interested in the production side at the moment. I just want to make what I can make and just see what happens.
I've had that moment. I've been on a stage and forgotten words to a thing. Maybe I'll talk about it someday.
Yeah, it's horrifying. I don't know why everyone thought I was crying. I wasn't. I was embarrassed, but I wasn't crying.
Oh.
everyone was like, do you have to cry? I was like, I didn't.
They probably expected that you would have.
Yeah, I did it. I was just like,
well, this sucks.
Yeah, I was a bit like shit, but they were like, you go back up, and I was like, okay, cool. Before I did it, the teachers pulled me aside, and they were like, we just want to make sure that you're not going to be like swearing. I was like, it's a school, I'm not going to swear on the stage.
I mean, some kids would have probably.
I guess some kids would have, yeah. If I looked back on it, I probably would have thought it was very bad, but whatever, I was a kid.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. At least you did. You made your own thing, and you like presented it.
Yeah. I obviously didn't win, but at the end of the day, it was an experience. I did an audition for the talent show the next year, so so I would like to get back into doing music a bit more, but for now, whatever happens.
Whatever happens. Yeah. Well, you are getting more into the production side of it now, so
slowly.
It's coming back.
Yeah, I think it's time for Rivet's News Corner.
Yes, here it comes. Are you ready? Here it is.
So this is about someone quite prolific who has tried something new. Someone that I know that you and I both don't like.
I feel like I know what this is going to be about.
But there's a twist. So obviously your boy Jeff Bezos
I knew it.
He's launched his phallic rocket into space.
He has penetrated the clouds.
The atmosphere. Yeah, he used to be the CEO of Amazon. I think he's only just stepped down. Jeff Bezos, he's like one of the richest men in the world. He's accumulated billions pretty much from treating his workers like garbage. So him and, at the moment, I think it's two other billionaires, so Richard Branson and Elon Musk, they're all in this kind of...
the two frat boys.
Yeah, they're all in this penis measuring competition where they're all trying to have, like, the best rocket.
I mean, you're right. I mean, everything in a billionaire's life is a penis measuring contest.
Yeah, it's just three billionaires who are like, yeah, instead of like ending homelessness or world hunger, that I'm just gonna like make a rocket for no reason other than to say I have the biggest penis kind of thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's not what the news story is. So this is actually about a conspiracy theory that I've seen on a lot of websites.
Oh my
at the
goodness.
moment. So there is a conspiracy theory that claims Jeff Bezos was replaced by aliens whilst he was in space.
Well, like some kind of Mark Zuckerberg, he's an alien theory.
I mean, let's be fair, I think Mark Zuckerberg probably is an alien.
Oh, okay, well, yeah, he is a lizard person. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah, but anyway, so Bezos went to space with his brother.
He didn't really go into space, though, did he? Like, he didn't actually break the atmosphere.
Really. They were, like, on the cusp, weren't they? They just got above, I think what's called, forgive me if I'm pronouncing this wrong, the Kármán line or something?
The hymen.
The hymen. It kind of is what it is.
A little bit.
He went up with his brother Mark and Wally Funk, an 82-year-old pilot who was banned from joining NASA decades ago because she was a woman. Oh, and Oliver Damon, and so he's an 18-year-old student, and the way in which he got his ticket was that his dad pretty much bought it for him for like so many billions.
Oh my God.
Millions, sorry. Yeah, everyone's like, he's the youngest. It's like, yeah.
He's also,
sure,
his dad is rich.
Yeah, so that helped. It was an 11-minute flight, but yes, apparently many Twitter users, which also makes me think, I don't know if these people are being legit or whether they're just having a jest. One concerned user tweeted in all caps, "Are we certain that an alien body snatcher didn't replace Jeff Bezos when he left the planet?
Are we sure an alien didn't snatch him when he left the hoo-ha?"
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Is someone said, "I'll probably disappear after tweeting this, but Bezos' rocket trip was designed to replace him while in orbit.
Orbit.
New name just dropped. With the lizard alien doppelganger of Bezos." And someone said, "The real Bezos is headed out of our solar system at the moment." I don't know where
maybe the real Jeff Bezos were the friends we made along the way.
Who knows?
People don't have anything to do? Do people not have, like, I don't know, a floor to vacuum, a video game to play,
grass to touch,
a flower to smell? I get that we're in a pandemic right now and people are just sitting and staring at walls doing nothing, but I doubt that this is why they're saying these things. I think if we weren't in a pandemic, they're conspiracy theories. They probably don't even think we're in a pandemic right now.
Exactly. So some people think that Jeff Bezos' voice sounded different when he returned, and someone was like, "I think it's because of testosterone boosters," and then someone was like, "It's because the alien overlords replaced the Bezos unit."
Well, they're not very good at point replacing him then.
No.
If you're going to tell the difference, I think if there really were aliens, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. His voice wouldn't be changed, because if they're that much more technologically advanced, then why would they fucking get his voice wrong? This doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, but there was a USA Today did a whole fact check article on this. The claim, there is an alien's face in Jeff Bezos' neck, proving he's not human.
Well, that settles it then. We have proof.
That's it. Well, this is the claim, but they dispute it.
Apparently, I don't know if it was NASA or something else. I read it very briefly. Apparently, they had to redefine the word astronaut, because that is not what Bezos is. He is a passenger.
He was.
Yeah,
yes.
so they had to redefine that word so that nobody calls him an astronaut. Because if you're a passenger, if you're a passenger in a plane, you're not a pilot.
No, that's the thing.
Yeah, you're not. He's not an astronaut. He's a rich passenger who paid his way to sit there. So there was some article where they were talking about how they had to rewrite the definition for the word astronaut so that nobody can call him an astronaut.
It also sounds quite petty, doesn't it?
It is petty in like the best way possible.
Just doing it so that Jeff Bezos can't call himself an
for
astronaut.
Sure, and I think it's the best way that anyone can be petty.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, it's so
good.
Definitely.
Reading this fact-checking article, it's got all the different claims and their ratings. So here's this one where Bezos is not a reptile or alien.
Or an astronaut.
And it just says, conspiracy theories about reptilian people are baseless. They feel quite strongly about this, and their verdict is that, it's false that he has been replaced with an alien, So
which one is it? Which one do I have to latch onto? Like, which bandwagon do I duct tape myself to with my whole life and soul?
Well, I mean, to be fair, they've got sources in the one saying that it's false. They've actually listed all of their sources in their explanation as to why Jeff Bezos isn't a reptilian alien. So, this one's backed up. So I think we're just all going to have to accept that, he's probably not a reptilian alien. I sound disappointed.
I think people are spending way too much time discussing whether or not Jeff Bezos is a reptilian alien, much less time discussing whether or not he is. How do I put this in the nicest way? Human scum.
Yeah, I think that's the best. It's another way to put it. Yeah. I don't have anything against people who have accumulated wealth through their own hard work and treating people fairly.
Oh, yeah.
And who do good things with it. I mean, at the end of the day, obviously, it's their money. They can do what they want. But sometimes it's just something about the way it was earned, I guess. I don't know. There's a lot of places like this.
Sorry to get controversial and political on the Give It a Go show, but I mean, this is a very black and white picture. There is a clear good and bad in this. But we don't need to talk about that.
No, anyway,
let's move on to the fun
media.
The fun media.
Yes, so back on let's get on to media.
So this is another thing that I was not intending to be the subject, but I really wanted to talk about it, and I've mentioned this to you. I've started playing Power Wash Simulator.
Oh, yes, my husband's top game at the moment as well.
Yes, he is very much a simulator connoisseur, I feel.
Yes, he is.
Whereas,
he knows it all.
I never play simulator games in this vein, but after watching 2 different YouTubers play it and finding it so satisfying to watch, I had to get it for myself, and I thought it was satisfying just to watch, but actually doing it is amazing. So, to explain what it is, it's just a simulator type game where you use a pressure washer to blast the dirt and grime off of vehicles, yards, buildings, parks, and all kinds of things. And you can earn in-game currency and buy upgrades, better washers, soap nozzles, etc. to be more efficient. So it has
power washing goods.
Yes, it has a steady curve. The pressure washer is already good, but you can become more efficient the further you go.
More powerful.
Yes, more powerful. More power. So it's extremely satisfying. Like, imagine just standing in front of a wall covered in dirt, as if it's been dunked into a swamp, and then just turning the washer on, moving it around, and just watching it turn into nice, pristine, clean wall, and seeing that clear difference in front of you. And
oh yes,
I've never used a real pressure washer, but it feels surprisingly realistic. It's satisfying enough where a lot of the dirt will be really easy to blast off, but there's things like mold and rust, really ingrained, and graffiti, which will require some more doing. So you have to switch it up with different nozzles and pressure and so on.
Yeah.
It's got like amazing balance. It feels good to do. Like it doesn't feel like turn it on, it's just like, okay, that looks unnatural. It feels really like you're doing it. Because even when you're faced with a huge project like cleaning an entire skate park, you just kind of get lost in the process. And the next thing you know, you spend an hour playing, but you cleaned a whole park and it feels great.
I might have to try this one, actually. I was never too fond of the simulator games either, but yes, as we said, my husband is a simulator connoisseur. He got me into Farming Simulator.
This one is very relaxing, and obviously it's all fake, so you're not actually accomplishing or cleaning anything, but it still gives you that feeling.
Feels like you are.
Yes, it gives you that feeling of having accomplished something while having enjoyed the process as well. So it's like a video game that makes you feel like you're doing productive things. And you could be doing productive things instead, but it feels good, so whatever. Like doing this instead of cleaning. It's an early access, which for anyone who doesn't know means it's an early version of the game. And usually I find those kind of hard to play because there'll be bugs and there'll be lots of content that is subject to change. This feels like a complete polished game. I was actually really surprised to see it was an early access because it's incredibly well made and it feels like its own completed thing. When I play it, I don't get the feeling that something is unfinished. It very much feels like this is what it's supposed to be, you know? So on its own, like that, it's really good. And it's getting very popular nowadays because of so many YouTubers playing it. So I had to finally cave and get it. And I haven't played it in a few days, but I usually just put on some music and then pressure wash a bunch of stuff. It's so relaxing. I end up like drawing little things in the dirt and it's very, very nice. It gives you a lot of variety. It's easy to get to the more powerful washers. It's not too much of a grind or anything. You just do things and get things, and it's very rewarding and forgiving.
Sounds like a nice chill time.
Absolutely. It's definitely relaxing.
Okay, so I tried a game as well. I tried one from the itch.io pack that we got a while ago.
Oh, I haven't even looked at that one.
Well, I played Cat Lateral Damage.
Yes, I've played that one!
So this was, like, obviously the first time I've played it. It's described on the Kickstarter, which was successful, as the premier first-person destructive cat simulator. Play as a cooped-up house cat and knock stuff onto the floor. So, that's what I did. So, in the game, you're a cat who has to knock as many things to the floor as possible. In a lot of them, you have an objective. So, for example, you have to knock 330 items onto the floor, and you have a time limit, and you just have to bap things, really.
I got that on Steam like a long time ago, and maybe I might have gotten like an earlier version or something, but I should play that again because just hearing you talk about it, I'm remembering all of the havoc that I wreaked.
It's surprisingly engaging. I thought that some of those smaller games, it's just you just sort of play it, there's not really any progression or anything, but you can unlock different cats, which I enjoy. You can unlock photos of animals, so they have cool names. So some of them are called like Catzilla, Turbo, and there was a dog called Super Soldier who wore I think a lobster hat, which I appreciated. And the images for the playable cats are really cute. The models don't really look like the pictures, but they're cute. And you can earn things like the photos, and when you complete the missions, you get more cats to play, which is a good time.
It's a very like nice color palette and stuff like that. It's cute, adorable.
It's pretty chill. You know, they play some quite nice music, but then obviously when it gets to, I think it's the last 30 seconds, it's like and it's like so, and then you're just there smacking as fast as possible.
It's like, a really funny idea. As someone who owns 3 cats and has watched them like bap things off of surfaces for no reason, it felt kind of gratifying to be on the other end of it, where I don't have to worry about cleaning something up. This is somebody else's problem.
That's the thing, and my favourite part about it is once you're done and the cat just like gets back in the box and it's just like nothing ever happened.
You know a game that you should play? I don't remember what it's called, but it's a game where you're at a party and you have to pet as many dogs as possible.
I've heard about that one. I can't remember what I think it's just called like Pet the Dog at the Party or
something like that.
It's pretty self-explanatory.
You just run through somebody's house and people are having a party and you run through every room you can find as fast as possible to pet as many dogs as you can before time runs out. It's just really relatable. You know, you're the person at the party and you kind of don't know anybody and you're like, where's the dog? And I pet the dog.
I mean, I don't get invited to parties. So.
Oh, well, I haven't been at a party either, but I'm imagining because I've heard a lot of people say that. Yeah.
So that was what I tried. Yeah, not much more to say on that, really.
It's very straightforward.
Give it a shot.
You bap things off. It's very easy to get into.
Yeah.
You can just go in directly and do it. It's straightforward. It's very fun. Well, maybe you should try the dog petting game.
Yes, I might have to try the dog petting game as more of a... I like cats, but I'm more of a dog person, so...
I'm the opposite. I love dogs to bits, but I'm a cat person, so definitely was very charmed by that game when I played it. So,
very sweet.
Well, excited to announce the last segment now. Yeah, we don't have an intro for it because, I don't know, who cares?
We didn't have one for the last one, did we?
Yeah, we didn't, so...
No one's gonna miss it.
We are going to learn new things on this segment.
Yes.
I called it the Today I Learned Facts, where I will go on the subreddit for Today I Learned, where it says I can't spell T-I-L, not T-I-L.
T-I-L?
Yeah, T-I-L, and then...
You can't spell letters.
A random fact. Yes, I can't spell letters. I don't know the alphabet. We're moving on to greener pastures with this, more theme-fitting pastures. So I'm going to be dropping some random facts on you.
Drop those facts.
So here's my first random fact. First of all, if I'm spreading misinformation, I'm sorry. I'm foolishly operating out of the assumption that everyone on Reddit is nothing but truthful. Please take with a grain of salt. So today I learned that the first iPhone virus did nothing except change people's phone wallpapers to a photo of Rick Astley.
Oh.
Yes.
Everyone's getting rickrolled.
Yeah, but I think this might have been before the rickrolling.
Oh.
I'm not sure. It was the first virus for iPhone, so it was a long time ago.
Oh, well, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it kind of reminds me, when I was at school, we had a supply teacher who was out of the room for like 5 minutes, and someone put the rickroll thing up.
Oh, yeah.
And the supply teacher came back in, and he couldn't close it because it would just come up with a different message every time when he clicked the close button. And it was just like, you can't escape kind of thing. And the supply teacher just went, no, it's Rick Astley.
No, it's him. It's like he's stalking the teacher.
Yeah. It's like, no.
So,
yeah,
the only function of the virus was to replace your wallpaper with a photo of Rick Astley, and it was easily removable. It was called the...
harmless virus.
The Ike worm, or something like that. And
okay.
Apparently an Australian man named Ashley Towns admitted to creating the virus to raise the issue of security. Mm-hmm. Like, people were being really lazy about their passwords and such things, and it was easier to get into. And he said, I've been informed that I may have broken some laws, but not being a lawyer, I do not know.
Maybe I have, maybe I haven't.
Yeah, so he like showed some proof that it was him and all. And I just think that's like a very... Because viruses, they feel like this entity that's very scary because they can just completely decimate years of work and something that costs a lot of money to replace. And so to have this harmless little thing for your phone that was easy to remove and that just kind of showed a picture of Rick Astley, I found that was very funny.
Just kind of I don't know why it reminds me of the time that my brother went into my dad and said, I can get World of Warcraft for free.
No.
And my dad went, no, you can't. And he said, I can do it. And my dad went, don't, because it's a virus. And my brother went, no, okay, I won't do it then. Anyway, he came in 5 minutes later and said, Dad, I have a virus.
Oh, no, you do? Whoa. Well...
My dad was like, I told you!
That's the thing. Well, growing up with parents that were not as computer savvy, I had to be the one to be like, no, you have not...
Don't do it.
You haven't won $1 million kroner. No, you haven't. You're not the 1,000th visitor to this site. Don't look at the flashing lights. It's okay. Especially during that time growing up, like during the 90s, where it really was, the internet was not a beautiful place by any means.
Oh, no.
Everything was really ugly looking, and there were flashing lights everywhere, and there would very much be like these obvious viruses that are not as obvious now, perhaps, but still kind of a new thing. And the iPhone was obviously much later, but it's still really funny to think about that somebody took the time, create a virus, 100%. Obviously having the skills for it, and they just made something harmless and cute instead, and just to raise awareness over how badly the security was made on these.
Yeah, fair enough to him.
Yeah, fair play. I love that he just kind of was very nonchalant about whether he was breaking laws or not.
Don't know, might have broken the law. We'll find
I don't
out,
know.
I guess. Don't know, I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah, that's lovely. I don't know if I broke this law. I'm not a lawyer. What do you think?
I don't know. Guess we'll find out. It's alright.
Yeah, I don't think he got charged for anything. He was very young, I think, like very early 20s.
I also feel like that's quite an Australian response, just to be like, yeah, probably.
Yeah, I may have broken some laws. I don't know. Don't we all? Unreal. But yeah, good for him. Good for him. And I don't use an iPhone, so I don't know. But good for Rick Astley for being the face of trolling for generations to come.
And now I am absolutely sick of it. Whenever I see a Rickroll these days, I'm like, ugh.
I feel like I've gone through the scale where at first it was funny, then I got sick of it, and now there are just so many worse ways that people troll nowadays that I've become very neutral towards it, where it's like, this is Rick Astley. But at the very least, it's extremely harmless. If outdated, you know. Yeah. I just think about, you know, if somebody tries to rickroll me, it's not really funny, but I'm like, oh, okay, well, at least you didn't call me a slur.
Yeah, that is...
to bait me into an argument.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing. Yeah, there's much worse about these days. So, I feel like it sounds like you've been through the 5 stages of grief with rickrolling.
Yeah, I think I have, yeah. I'm at peace. I'm at peace.
You're at peace. You're in acceptance.
I just know that no matter what, he's never going to give me up anyway. He's never...
Oh my god, shut up.
I think that is our note to end this. So,
that's enough from you.
You know better than this.
You better stop.
So yeah, if you have any stories that you'd like to tell us about things you've tried, pop us an email.
A tweet, an Instagram comment. I don't know what the kids use these days. Just do it.
What's our email? Give it a go show pod.
Yeah, give it a go show pod
at gmail.com.
At gmail.com. I'm pretty sure
tell us your stories. Maybe we'll talk about them.
Yes, please tell us your stories. Yes. We'd love to talk about them. If we get enough, we'd love to do a segment.
Yes. When we run out of our stories, we might tell your embarrassing stories.
Which is soon, so please we beg of you.
It's going to be soon. I'm only so old and I've only done so many things.
We've only got so many left.
We got no time. Time's running out. You gotta do it.
Please, sorry. Yeah. So yes, if you do have anything, please send it through to us. We'll be happy to talk about it. You can be anonymous. You can give us your name. We don't care.
Do you hear how desperate she sounds?
Please, just anyone. Just make something. No, please don't make something up.
It's fine. We'll live, but we would love it. Yes.
We'll be alright. Yes, so, thank you very much.
Thanks for listening to our podcast.
Yes, thank you.
And just go make some memories.
Yes.